What's good, y'all? I'm back with another video so soon. I knew this story was just gonna um, make headlines because of, the nature of the story or whatnot, but I didn't think it was gonna be like how it is right now. It hasn't even been 12 hours since it's been out, and people are really upset for two reasons. They're upset about what happened, and some people are upset because, well, there's no reason why this should be brought up 20 years later. Who gives a shit? And I don't understand that at all. Like, does it really matter how long ago it happened? Does it really matter that it's been settled in court? Y'all gave them God knows how much money to shut the fuck up. Does that really matter? Like, who cares when you tell the story? They're just doing their job, documenting things that's happened within the wrestling world, and I don't see why not talk about certain topics that people probably feel uncomfortable with talking about. And I feel like this is why Ric Flair got a pass, because no matter what he do, people are just gonna be like, "Well, it's Ric Flair," like as if he gets a pass for everything. And even Jim Ross said yesterday, when they asked him, like, what happened to Ric Flair? Like, why didn't he get fired? He obviously got a pass on it. Unfortunately, sometimes you just get away with things just because of who you are. And he got away with it. And he can possibly still get away with this because people are just like, man, it's Ric Flair, man. This happened a long time ago. He was drunk. He had drugs in his system. He didn't know what he was doing. The same people who makes excuses for Chris Benoit. I mean, like, so what makes something okay? Like, assaulting someone, harassing someone, that's okay? Like, I don't know. Like, you guys, how much excuses can you possibly make for someone before it's actually, like, not okay? Like, what line had to be crossed before it's not okay? Seeing the comments from fans, a lot of people obviously are like, cancel Ric Flair or whatever. I don't know anything about this cancel shit. All I know is, regardless of who it is, if they've done something wrong, regardless of when that happened, people can voice their opinion on it. People can support him. People don't have to support him after they've, been exposed. And a lot of people are like, hey, this story's been around for a long time. There's no reason why y'all should, get your panties in a bunch or whatever. And sure, it's true, it's been out for a long time, but a lot of people didn't know about this. And even though the people who did know, like me, this episode, like, really painted the picture for everyone to really see what may have gone down. So recently, Rick did an interview and with Renee, and she asked about the show that's coming up or whatever. So this was his comment. He said, God, I've heard about it too, just when things were going good for me. Listen, you put me on your podcast after. We'll see how it plays out because I was there and I don't care whose name I have to drop if the heat falls on me. I know who was there, what, who, and what took place. I know the whole story. So obviously he knew that something was going to be said. He knew obviously that the flight attendant was interviewed for this. He knows that something's going to happen from this where, like he said, he going to have to drop some names. Like, if you didn't do what being said, do you really have to put other people down with you? Obviously, like, in my eyes, I feel like that just makes you look more guilty. If you feel like, hey, I gotta drop some names down if the heat falls on me, you know it's gonna fall on you. Obviously, this is why he kind of disassociated himself with WWE, and I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon was in on that as well, because they don't want that type of heat either, which they're gonna be getting regardless. But if he were to be signed with them in any type of way while this story broke out, wow, I'm saying breaking out like as if the story hasn't been around for so long, but they already know what was going to come with it, with this whole thing. And to me, Rick should have probably just jumped in on the interview with them and said, whatever he had to say, at least plead his case, whether if he would tell the truth or lie, instead of not saying anything at all. Scott Hall as well too. He's obviously getting heat from this, but I feel like even more, Tommy Dreamer is getting a lot of heat because he was pretty much condoning it, pretty much making excuses like a whole bunch of other idiots who are making excuses like, you knowing and caring for somebody just don't make it right. It don't make it, you know, you just can't say someone is innocent because you just feel like they are. It just doesn't work like that. I forgot to mention that Terry Reynolds was also being interviewed. She was also on the flight as well, and she mentioned how during the pay-per-view that weekend, Brock Lesnar came in a room and exposed himself to her, and Goldust was there. Her ex-husband was there, Dustin, and he was just like, just brush it off, act like it didn't even happen. She said things like that happen all the time. Sexual assault, harassment, all these things happen to her and to other women in the business as well. Like, stuff like this happen a lot. And honestly, I feel like with the flight attendants being so close with them during the weekend, like I said, they went to parties together, they went to the shows with them or whatever, kind of made things a little bit more personal, where maybe Ric Flair felt like, that it was okay to make those type of advances on the flight attendants. And I'm pretty sure he's probably going to come out and say, hey, during the weekend we did this and that, and whatever happened, she probably was consenting to it, or probably led him on to doing whatever he did. Like, he's gonna make it seem like something was consensual with them throughout that weekend, and it's just gonna probably fall back on her. That's the thing with sexual assault. A lot of people don't want to talk because they feel like people are going to judge them, people are going to make it seem like whatever happened is their fault. And I totally agree with that. Like, this is just going to come out, and people are going to make her look bad. Yeah, it looks bad that she just took the money rather than coming out and say, no, let's take this to trial. I really want justice for what happened to me. But it just didn't work that way. Sometimes people are intimidated when people who obviously have some type of authority in this world and big money is being thrown, that can buy your silence. And she ended up regretting that. Like, she should have took it to trial. I honestly think so. Like, if you felt some type of way, if you felt strong enough to do so, take it to trial. And but that doesn't excuse what happened, whether they took the settlement or not. I am so curious to see where this goes, because a lot of people just feel like, hey, this is old news, let it go. But people have been saying how Ric Flair got something coming up with AEW, and obviously Tony, if anything is in writing or not, you're just gonna have to let it go. Like, AEW is on the right path right now. A lot of good things have been happening for them, and with this story coming out and shedding new light to the situation, adding Ric Flair into the company in any capacity would just not be good for them right now. Like, they don't need that type of publicity at the moment. Like, it's just not worth it. Who knows, maybe if this whole thing died down, if they feel like it's something that they want to invest in, putting Ric Flair on their roster or whatever it is, I mean, that's all on them. But then people still will remember what happened and probably will not want to support AEW as well. So however that goes, it's not looking good for Ric Flair at all. Scott Hall too, like, I believe it. I really do believe something happened. Just because you don't remember doesn't mean that it didn't happen. But you being fucked up on drugs don't make you look better either. Like, it's still not an excuse. Some people will just be like, hey, he was fucked up on drugs, so whatever happened, it's not his fault. Yes, it is. He's the one who took drugs. And then there's some people who's like, well, you know what, he was h-bombed. Okay, so where's the line? Where does the line cross when stuff like this happen? Like, you can't just be like, hey, I like so and so, I'm gonna support them regardless what they did. That's your opinion if you want to, but just because you feel that way does not mean that there shouldn't be any repercussions because it's your favorite wrestler. It just doesn't work like that. Curious to see where this goes because Ric Flair has put a huge impact on pro wrestling, and he's been getting passes all these years. So what happens now? Like, what's gonna happen? Who knows?